What's new in Washington this week? Hello, I'm Margaret Mannix, Executive Editor of U.S. News, with an inside look at our latest issue of U.S. News Weekly. First up, the long list of things that Congress needs to do when lawmakers get back from the 4th of July recess. Among the top priorities is Sonia Sotomayor's nomination to the Supreme Court. The confirmation hearing, set for Monday, July 13th, will perhaps be a bit more intriguing now that the High Court has overturned an appeals court decision that Sotomayor was a part of. The Supreme Court ruled in favor of white firefighters in New Haven, Connecticut, who said they were denied promotions because of their race. Congress also has major legislation to craft, first and foremost health care reform, which stalled out before the break. But a sweeping energy and climate change bill took a step forward before lawmakers got out of town. It passed the House by a very slim margin, and now it's the Senate's turn. Democrats are adding another seat in the Senate. The Minnesota Supreme Court ruled in favor of Saturday Night Live veteran Al Franken in the contested November election. With Democrats in the driver's seat and President Obama dealing with all sorts of thorny issues like the recession and the specter of terrorism, he's taking a very different path than Ronald Reagan did when faced with similar issues. At that time, Reagan had inherited a tough economy and faced the Soviet Union. Here's our chief White House correspondent, Ken Walsh.
Even though he left office more than 20 years ago, Ronald Reagan still has a strong hold on the imagination of many conservatives and many Americans. Reagan confronted the Soviet Union.
To ignore the facts of history and the aggressive impulses of an evil empire.
And many believe his tough policies helped end Soviet communism once and for all. But President Obama has a less confrontational style, and in dealing with threatening nations such as Iran and North Korea, he hopes conciliation is the better approach.
Thanks, Ken. In our special report this week, new details on how the Russians were spying inside the United States. Since the end of the Cold War, new documents have emerged from U.S. and Russian archives that show that hundreds of people, from the famous to the obscure, crossed paths with Soviet intelligence during the pre-World War II years. In Washington Whispers, Paul Bedard has a full lineup this week, including how Face the Nation host Bob Schieffer is adding mentor and cultural ambassador to his busy schedule this summer. It's all in this week's digital magazine. To get a copy or to learn how, visit us at usnews.com/subscribe. See you next week.